Alright, take another swig of the mimosa and then we'll get started. Oh, it's good stuff. Especially when it's at about 9 o'clock at night. How is everyone doing today? Welcome back to Glueburns. My name's Dakota and this is a podcast about cosplay and nerd culture. I don't know why I went really silent there all of a sudden. My brain was trying to think of what to say next and I just kind of spun my wheels. But today I thought it'd be really kind of fun to go through my games I've been playing during quarantine. Or in quotations quarantine, because I have been working full-time at under the overlord Jeff Bezos at Amazon, but regardless, let me go grab my Switch and I can talk about the games I've been playing. So if y'all don't know me, I actually have, I'm actually a pretty huge gamer, and I'm not saying that to be a meme, but I am actually a pretty huge gamer. I've got, since moving out here, I've actually bought my first gaming PC setup, and I've been having a blast with that. I actually will probably include some of those in this podcast today because they'll be really fun to talk about. The previous podcast I just recorded was the cosplay and COVID one, so that was not as fun. But this one should be pretty lighthearted. But since I am living with a relative and I'm not living on my own, because before I was living on my own, and I had all of my systems plugged in, I unfortunately now live in a house that is over 100-something years old, and the electrical wiring is all very old and not equipped for modern day technology. So I can't have all of my electronics plugged in that I own. So because of that, instead of having my 3 consoles and my computer plugged in, I only have my Switch as a console that's actually actively plugged in all the time. My other 2 are kind of taking a nap for now, and then my PC is running all the time. So that's also another thing I game on, but regardless, so let's open up my Switch and we'll talk about some of the games I've been playing. Alright. Oh yeah, right off the bat. So I guess I'll go from newer to what I started, newer to older as far as ones I've been playing, just because it's how it's set up in my actual Switch lineup. Now recently, I caved in and bought the Hatsune Miku game on the Switch, the Project Diva, not to mention the Mega Mix version, because I'm like, if I'm gonna go all out and get this game, I might as well get the Mega Mix version, and it was worth it. If I gotten all the packs by themselves, it would have been $80, and for the Mega Mix version, it was $60, the cost of any other AAA game. So I was like, that's fine. I haven't bought a game in a long time, and this will be it. But then, not at this time, but they also came out with a second Mega Mix pack of songs, I think after they released the game. So they released the game with all these song packs. You can buy them all together in this Mega Mix, which I got, but then later on, they were oh, here's some more songs and stuff that, we know the game's already released, but here's some more for the game. So, after, I think, a week or 2 of playing this game, I am thoroughly addicted, and I caved in and bought the other song pack. I'm not going to disclose how much it is, in case my relatives are listening and don't want to judge me for my money-making decisions. But I now officially have all of the content that is out on this game. If they have more packs out in the future, it's kind of funny because at the same time, I'm kind of hoping they are, but at the same time, I'm hoping they're not, because lordy, I love the songs. There are some songs I wish were on it though. Mind you, this is for another podcast time, but I'm a baby Vocaloid fan. It's funny, I feel like I'm so late to the game as a 21-year-old just getting into Vocaloid, but I love it. I love it so much. And one of the first songs I got into was around 19 and stuff. It was a very slow start, but once I got into it was very exponential growth. And but it was from a DDR game, and it was Childish War by Ren and Len. And I'm so upset that they don't have that song on this Hibana, which was like one of my first songs that just kind of became my go-to favorite one. I've learned a lot of these songs are by Deco27, and man, I love their style. I love Deco27. Like, they did Ghost Rule, they did Hibana, they do some other slower ones that are still just as catchy, but I love it. Hibikase, that's another one where it's like has a movie to it. Very cool. Rolling Girl. This one it took me a little bit longer to find in the pack, because mind you, I got like all 170 songs like at once, so some of these are like classic Vocaloid songs, and some people might be like, how have you not like had Rolling Girl in there from the beginning? I'm like, I'm just learning these songs. And so when I see that, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I start to play it and I'm like, wow, this is great. This is great. I get very, I hate to say it, but the opening reminds me of the Rebecca Black, like, playing the piano, but obviously it's not the same, but I kind of chuckled myself when it reminded me of that. But, oh, I love Rolling Girl. It's great. Oh, and then you got Senbon. Oh, I'm learning Japanese. I should know this. Senbon Sakura, F edition, obviously, the 6 singers, which is the her dancing in her big sleeved outfits, twirling her sleeves around, talking about, you know, I guess the history of Japan, which I love the comments in the YouTube video for that, because they're just like laughing at how cute it is, even though like it's pretty dark. But regardless, I officially got perfect on that one. Oh, I haven't done, like, some of these I've gotten all the way to perfect, and then I've been so proud of myself. Oh, I don't even know how to pronounce this one. There's been a theme of like 39 or 39s. Can someone tell me, like, who knows more about Vocaloid history than I do? Like, is that a significant number? Because is that like have to do with like something in Vocaloid history or a anniversary or something? That like, is it just a artist? Something like that. Because it's in a lot of songs. It's Deco27's got a couple songs that have 39. This one is 39's Giving Day edition, like SPICA. That one's really pretty. The orbit dress, gorgeous. Suna no Wakasai. This one I just got into, and I'm usually more of a high energy, high impulse, high beat kind of person when it comes to songs, especially for these games. But Suna no Wakazai it's really, really nice. It's just like, no other word comes to it except like nice and comfortable, more of like a chill vibe. But it's like, I don't want to say satisfactory, it's just really like, even though the video itself is more of like not really that vibe, it's more of like a, what's going on here? Intriguing. I think that's the best word I'm thinking of, is intriguing. The animation on this one is gorgeous. You can also look all these up on like YouTube, by the way. Suna no Wakazai, featuring Hatsune Miku. The animation, this is a movie one too, and the animation is like one of my favorites on these. And she looks like this like punk desert girl. It's like, it's not your typical Hatsune Miku. She almost looks more like a regular girl as far as her hair goes, like just 2 little pigtails. But she's got like all these desert people behind her, and they're walking through the desert, and you kind of see glimpses of like her old Hatsune Miku. I'm still looking into the lyrics of this one, but oh, it's a great, for the song, it's so different than my other songs I have on my playlist, but it's great. I love it. Oh, 39 music. Again, the 39. I need to know like what it is with the 3 9s, but it's Sankyo, so it's 3-9. I still need to know if that's like how 3-9 music. But someone let me know on that. But this one, amazing. It's the it's so high energy, so upbeat. I put her special like rainbow stuff on. It's just all colorful. It's wonderful. That was one of the first ones I got perfect on. I was like, oh, so proud of myself. Bring It On! This is one of the newer ones I got from the pack, and honestly, this one song is worth the price. It was Bring It On by Giga, sung by Ren and Len. Gosh. And this song gives me the DDR vibes. Oh my gosh. And I've really haven't heard that many Vocaloid songs where they rap, and this was one where they like full-heartedly rap. They have like a dubstep section, they have like a section where like the bridge at the end is like the crowd like whoa 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 whoa, whoa. I'm drinking alcohol, so it's probably not great for my voice trying to sing, but you get the point. It's great. Honestly, as someone who loves high energy dance songs like DDR songs, it was so worth it. Bring It On by Giga. And another written line is Remote Controller. I actually really like the cover of this done by Ryo on YouTube. R-E-A-O? No, R-E-O-L, I think it is. Ryo. Ryo. And I love their version of this because they add to it. I'm so used to that version that when I played this, I'm like, oh, I love this song. And I played this version and it's not the same. And I'm not talking just like the vocals. Like they added stuff in Ryo's version. They added certain choruses, they added and stretched out some stuff, so I actually mess up heavily on this song sometimes because I'm so used to the other version. Regardless though, Remote Controller, great song. I too also know what it's like to be a slave to the remote controller. Sweet Magic is just adorably cute. I did not expect to like the song as much as I did. But it was, oh my gosh, it's adorable. And not even just like I like because it's adorable, it just really grew on me, like the chorus and everything. It reminds me of my littlest sister. The song itself is about bringing the sweetness of childhood into adulthood, and it's just like she's in this cute little dress dancing around with these sweets, and I'm just like, oh, it's wonderful. Interviewer, because I wanted to have at least one Luca song on my favorites list. I love Luca's voice. Like that's the thing, I love Luca's voice, but I like Miku's songs more, but they never have like ones that have like Luca's voice on it, and I'm like, oh. But YouTube has my back. YouTube always has like every version of every song with every Vocaloid, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Ashes to Ashes is basically aesthetic in a song. Like it is straight up Black Butler meets My Friend Says Kingdom Hearts meets Castlevania meets, like it is so just, aesthetic is the biggest word. Like if you want how to properly aesthetize a video, you've got Ashes to Ashes sung by Kaito. And oh my god, his outfit, I want it. Wintry Winds is one of the newer songs I got on with the new pack. And it's very nice. I didn't expect to like it as much. But they're Kaito's and Miku's voice, not Miku, is it Meiko? Meiko's, is that how you pronounce it? Meiko and Kaito's voice blend so nice. But yeah, that's my favorites list so far. There's some more songs I really like, but I'm already going on like 15 minutes just on this game. I love Vocaloid. I'm a baby Vocaloid fan. I need to know more about it. I don't even know some of I was watching somebody react to like Vocaloid classics, and I'm like, I haven't even heard of half of these songs. Should I? And I felt kind of bad, but I'm a huge fan of beat-based games and music-based games, and definitely got it with this one. Next up, we're going down the line, it's Ace Attorney. How did I really get into Ace Attorney? I think it was because I really was just looking for like a murder, like mystery kind of base game, and I think I remember watching the Game Grumps play Ace Attorney, and I saw it on the Nintendo store for like $50, I mean not $50, 50% off, which ended up being, it was $30, so it was like $15, and I'm like, alright, I'll do that. And it was the trilogy, so I got like 3 games for $15. Sounds about right. Alright. And my goodness, I did not expect to love it as much as I did. I expected it just to be kind of quirky, this and that, and like not be too deep. Like it's just an old, like, and let's be honest, Ace Attorney's pretty old as far as games go. It's like over like someone said 10, 14 years old. I need to fact check myself on that. But honestly, even with just the first couple games from being that old, like they're amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and like the suspense and quips and turns and surprises all got me. It's hard to do that nowadays, but it really did, and all the characters are so lovable, and like not only do you have the timelines inside the case itself, but you have overarching timelines and characters coming back and coming forth. Y'all, my friend called it out, but I definitely became an Edgeworth simp. Oh my gosh, I love Edgeworth. And I don't know why, it's always the Tsunderes. I'm very much a Phoenix Kinney and an Edgeworth simp, which I feel like speaks for itself. But I am about to finish up the 3rd game of the trilogy, and then from there I'm going to, well, I got kind of sidetracked when I got my Miku game, because now I'm just like heavily going into that. But I need to finish up my 3rd game, because I met Godot, and I can see why people love Godot now. He's awesome. I'm surprised. I'm just so surprised like how much I love this game. And surprisingly, the fandom after all these years is still going strong, like super strong, which makes me happy to know that like I'm not too late. And I talked to some people in the nerd community, and they said that's like the Phoenix fandom, the Phoenix Wright fandom, the Ace Attorney fandom never really died down. It's just been like a classic fandom that like has always been there and will kind of always be there. And I'm glad, because what a great fandom, what a great game. I heard my little on my phone, sometimes it shows you like, I don't read news, but sometimes it like, obviously Google like knows what you search up and this and that, and picks out cultivated articles to help grab your interest, and one of them was like something about like possibly a new Phoenix Wright game coming out, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know what to do to grab my attention. Please be true. I know this is just to grab my attention, but please be true. It's great stuff, great stuff. I know that I still yet to find, I think the way to play the games with Apollo, because I already know a lot about Apollo because I've been in the fandom, and he and Clavier and all of them awesome characters, as far as I know. I just want to play the games, obviously, too, but I think they're not on Switch. So I think how I found him to play them, they're actually mobile games, which is kind of cool. And I know there's some more actual Ace Attorney games, but they're not, like, translated and brought to the West yet, which I was kind of surprised. But they look amazing. Like, when I say they look amazing compared to the old graphics, they look amazing. So I'm really hoping to see the Ace Attorney fandom still kind of continue to be, like, a pillar in, like, long-lasting fandom classics. And I'm glad I got into it, even though it's, like, how many years late. I love it. I can't wait to continue playing it. Okay, I did get Super Mario 3D All-Stars somewhere in the in the quarantine. I know I think like first when it came out I got it because I was so hyped. I was just thinking about how much I wanted to play Mario 64, and then I saw the teaser, somebody on like Instagram put their story about like Mario 3D All-Stars, like 64 coming to Switch, and I'm like, oh, this has to be like a joke. But then I saw it on the Switch store, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not a joke. Very happy about that. Mario 64 was such huge in my childhood. And then they have Mario Galaxy in this mix as well. Mario Galaxy, same for my childhood, but also the soundtrack. The soundtrack itself of Mario Galaxy, in case y'all have not like listened specifically just to the Mario Galaxy soundtrack, it's amazing. I'm someone who's such a sucker for like orchestra mix of video game music, so when the video game itself has like orchestra already in it for like it's not even for like the slower songs, like no, like for it's Gusty Gale Galaxy's soundtrack like in the game. Gorgeous. It highly like go check that out on YouTube. Gusty Gale Galaxy Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack. Oh, it's just like a full sweeping orchestra going on while you're playing this game obviously in space, and it ties it so well together. And I never got to play the second Galaxy, and it's not included in this 3D All-Stars, but the first one, I've already beat it twice now, and I love Super Mario Galaxy. There's something about it, it's just really, it's one of the All-Stars, that's why they have it. Now, I never got to play Super Mario Sunshine. I still have yet to play the Super Mario Sunshine on this pack. I think I'm just waiting for a specific time where I need like a new fun game to play. And I've heard so many good things about Mario Sunshine. I've heard that it's a mess as far as like actual games go, as far as mechanics and stuff, but like I've heard like as far as like nostalgia and people loving it, like it's kind of like me with Super Mario 64. It's so many good feelings attached to it. I mean, I've listened to Game Grumps play their playthrough of it, and it's very, just like Dan says, happy looking. It's very happy looking, and you know, how do you not feel sad? And oh, I believe they also said it was like open world-esque. That and Mario 64 were the only two that are very much open world-esque. They didn't force you to go a certain path like Mario Galaxy did. So I do look forward to kind of exploring the world there, because I guess I didn't think about that until now. Like, that's actually another world I get to explore, not just go from level to level to level. So I actually am pretty excited about that now that I think about that. So I still have yet to play that, but yeah, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I'm so happy they brought that to Switch and for all one price. They really knew how to make us feel better. Now this is something this is a game that I got for my birthday last year, but I didn't start until like when I first moved out here in like July. And I feel so bad about that, but I think I'm glad I waited to start it and play it because it really gave me like an escape when I really needed it. And honestly, I could still play it again and again. And we're talking about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, I think I have over 200 hours on this. And I will gladly put another 200 hours on it. I still have not found all of the shrines. I still have not done all of the quests. It's amazing. When somebody told me that this is probably one of the best games ever made, I thought they were exaggerating. Now that I've played it for myself, I can honestly say it's probably one of the best games ever made. Mechanics-wise, world-wise, music-wise, like animation, music, everything. It's just one of the best, like, adventure, and you truly feel like you're in the world. And because not only is it truly open world, but you can truly go anywhere. Nothing stops you, except the actual bounds of the world. But it's not like, no, I have to be honest here. This was actually one of the first Zelda games I've properly played. I did grow up with the NES, so I did have, I believe it was Zelda 2 and the original Zelda, like the original, like 8-bit sprite going across the screen and stuff. But as kids, my sister and I didn't really teach us how to play, and we got confused, and we were like, what's going on? And we just stopped playing because we didn't understand. This was a hand-me-down NES from our mother when she had it when she was a kid. So, you know, those little games don't come with tutorials, so we kind of didn't really get into Zelda like some people did. We were more of Mario people because we could boot up the original Mario Brothers, and it was very self-explanatory. You jump across, do this and that. We latched onto that immediately, and that's why I think Mario has such a fond place in my heart. But now Zelda does, like, it's growing. I'll go back to this too, but if anybody knows me personally, I have a lot of NES-inspired merch and things, and not only that, but like NES Mario-inspired belongings and clothing and blankets and, oh my gosh, keychains. I'm looking around, stickers. I'm just a huge fan of 8-bit Mario because that's such a huge nostalgic thing for me. But so yeah, like, not only that, but I know that Zelda's been hugely hyped for many years, and now to be, I think it was 20 when I first started playing this, to finally get to see why Zelda's so loved, and thank God it was this game, like one of the better games. It's awesome. I definitely want to find a way to play like Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, although I've watched Game Grumps play it, and let's be honest, Aaron's outlooks on those games are not always the most positive, but even though, you know, they're not always said to be the best, I really want to play them and see the magic for myself. So I know it's kind of hard if you don't have the consoles though, but I'll find a way. But yeah, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, absolutely amazing, because not only do you have action, you have puzzles, you have exploring, it's a truly do whatever you want. It really is the first ever truly nothing can stop you explore your own world, because you can climb anything, you can chop down anything, it's nothing stopping you. And I think that's amazing for the developers to do, because that really makes me think, how much time did they put into this to have every single surface act this way? And they also accounted for the weather and everyone, like it starts to rain, that affects everything. You've got how different clothing acts on it, and I'm like, this is absolutely stunning. I have such a deep appreciation for Breath of the Wild. Also, the Guardians are amazing. Like, when you first start playing the game, they're horribly terrifying, but I love them now. I found a way to farm to farm Guardian parts, and I feel like a badass doing it. But I love the design. Although I'm gonna be perfectly honest, when it comes to the mazes with like the Guardians in it, I have to look up a cheat guide for that, because oh my gosh, those mazes are brutal. I'll be like 2 days straight trying to figure out how to get through that, and I'm like, nope, gotta look up a tutorial. I can't. But oh, great, the cooking of food, everything. Now, because of this game, I have heard that basically Genshin Impact is basically Breath of the Wild, both anime characters. Now, that sounds right up my alley. But it's a free game, which I know there's ways to spend money in it. Which I know because, you know, it sounds like my type of game, I'm gonna be wanting to spend money on it. Which also, although I've heard it's amazing. Like, I will check it out eventually. I think they said it's coming to Switch, and they just don't know when yet. I think when it comes to Switch, I'll definitely try it out. My thing is that for me, as a cosplayer, I try not to make my cosplaying list too big, because it helps with my, I don't want to say anxiety when it comes to cosplaying, but like crunching. I shouldn't do it anyways, but it's a big thing for me to keep my cosplaying list small. And I know that if I start playing Genshin Impact, you know, just looking at the way the characters are designed, I'm gonna be wanting to add so many more characters to my cosplay list. I love those type of like intricate designs and like really like interestingly made clothing. I don't know how to describe it. It's really just like, it's unusual, but it's very flatteringly unusual. But it's also very detailed, which makes it gorgeous. I love it. I guess the unusualness makes it look magical, I guess, because it's just not from this world. I guess that's the way to put it. But anyways, the detail. Oh, the detail. Don't even get me started. But Lord, like I said, once I start playing that, my cosplay list is gonna double, so I'm trying to put that off as much as possible. Also, I work many hours a week, so that's that to take into consideration, I believe. So, yes, Breath of the Wild. If any of you are on the fence about this, I'm gonna be honest. When I worked in video games and stuff department, I knew it was very hyped, but then again, I wasn't a huge Zelda person at the time either, and so I wasn't looking at it for nostalgia purposes, but everyone was talking about it like being the best game, this and that. I looked at the promotional video, I think, and I was like, this just does not look like it's for me. I don't know. And I don't know, nothing really grabbed me, so I think that's what like took me such a long time to play it. But then I played it, and I am a diehard fan for this game now. Straight up. So, I know that Age of Calamity is out right now, and I'm kind of torn on it, because I want more of like this, I'll have to like look more into it. I think that's just my bad, since I'm no longer working in like a video game centered area, so it's like I don't get to know more about the game as it comes out and stuff. Because that was my job before, is just to know video games, so I can talk to customers and make sure, you know, about games and this and that. So that, I need to like look into more about Age of Calamity, if it's like, because it looks like it's more of just a combat game. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's more of just a strict combat game. Because I really want something that's, again, Breath of the Wild, like, where it's more of, you can combat, you could also sneak, you can also just go exploring, you can go puzzle route, you can go this and that. Overall, whatever you're feeling, you can go do. If the new Age of Calamity is like more 80% combat, I'm not sure about that. It looks good, like it looks like it's still gonna be a great game, but it might take me a little bit longer just to get into it, because it calls for a specific mood I'm in, I guess. But we'll see. I'll have to look into that. Next, tying into Legend of Zelda. Now, if any of you have a Switch or Switch Online account, you actually get the Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Nintendo Entertainment System, like, retro game packs for free on your Switch. Ooh, sorry. Whew. Oh my gosh, I guess that drink's not agreeing with me. But you get, like, a whole bunch of retro games, like all with the original soundtracks, the actual game itself, for free. And I'm not talking just like 5, I'm talking like 20s, like I think even more than that. There's gotta be like, at least in the NES one I play, there's gotta be like above 40 games in there, so maybe not that much. I'm not currently in there, but old games I'd play with on my NES in our playroom. We used to have one as kids with my sister, like Lolo. Like, people talk about NES games, but I remember Lolo, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they had Lolo on here, and I got to play it, and it felt great. If any of you haven't played Lolo, but like know of like NES stuff, like it had very top-down graphics like the Legend of Zelda did, and it had that kind of like aesthetic as like in a castle, but you look like a little blue orb, kind of like a Kirby, but you're blue, and you're trying to save your girlfriend, which is the little pink orb. Again, looks like Kirby, but it's not. From the dragon, who takes it to the top of the castle. But the way to get through the castle is all puzzles. And it's very intriguing. I love it. It's great. To now get that, it's just the wave of nostalgia that hit when I got to play Lolo again. It's amazing. So I've been playing a lot of games on this, but also like one of the games I started, but I it's so funny saying like I need to get back into these games, but we all know for a good while I will be hooked to my Vocaloid game. But when I have the rare moment of not wanting to play my Vocaloid game, I need to continue playing. I started up the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo version, because now I like I said, I had the NES, but I never had the Super Nintendo. So I get to play all these games that I never got to grow up with, which is pretty cool, that I've always heard about. One of them being Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. And can I just say, the jump from the NES to the SNES graphics is amazing. I think that's awesome. I love video game history and seeing this stuff like actually in motion. It's awesome to me. I love video game history. But so I started that up, and it's really kind of cool to play some of these older games. I played for a week I played before going to bed. I played the first ever Mario Kart on the SNES, and Princess Peach was so hard to beat for a while. Toad was kicking my ass, but oh my god, the controls in that are ridiculous. But I think that's what kind of made it fun, is I had to relearn these controls on this old game. That was really fun. But of course, I'd play a lot of Donkey Kong in the NES, because I never had Donkey Kong in the NES. I always played at the arcade when I went to Madison. But I gotta play the old Mario Brothers. Oh, by the way, if you guys have Nintendo Online and you've never tried these emulators, that's the word I was looking for, emulator. These emulators, and you've had these, let's say you had these games as a kid, and you want to play them again now, you can actually make your own save files with each game. As you know, in the NES era, there was no save files. That came out in the SNES era. So I finally can make save files so I can finally beat Super Mario 3. And I just think that's pretty neat. I just think that's awesome. So highly, if you guys didn't know that, if you guys have a Nintendo Switch Online account, you get these for free. They're pretty great. Mind you too, they're also multiplayer. So keep that in mind. Now, is there any other games I got during quarantine? Oh, of course, how can I not talk about Animal Crossing? Now, I'm sad that I'm not really that big of an Animal Crossing person. I did play a lot of it when I was younger, but like this version, I played right after playing like 230 hours of Stardew Valley, and I'm gonna say, I don't know, like, I enjoyed Stardew Valley just a little bit more, and Stardew Valley is a fourth of the cost. That's just me. If any of you are out there that use like that cheats and uses time skips in Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley might be for you. So, but Stardew Valley also has like mining and like fighting some monsters in the mines, but you also can go up and farm and you can fish and this and that. It's pretty great. So Stardew Valley's I play a lot, but Animal Crossing's New Horizons. I mean, I love Animal Crossing. I'm just like not as big as fans as some people out there. Like, I stopped playing a while ago, and I think that's just because I feel like I exhausted all that I did. Some people keep playing for the aesthetic to keep their islands going. For me, I think when it comes to these types of games, as long as I can still grind on that day, like most of the stuff in Animal Crossing is like, oh, do this once a day, okay, you're done. And for my mind to be interested, it really can't work like that. Not to mention, I paid off my house, and that's like the biggest thing in Animal Crossing, is that you're doing all this stuff to pay off your house. Well, I paid off my house, and so I feel like the motivation to keep playing is really just like spiraled down. But yeah, I I feel bad because I know a lot of people are huge fans, but I don't know, like it felt like an inconvenience to go back in Animal Crossing. But now they have all the updates with like the Mario stuff for Nintendo, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I never stopped. I really want the Mario stuff. But now it feel like just more of a hustle to get back in and get to where I was to get all the Mario stuff, and I'm just gonna leave it where it's at right now. I mean, I still have very positive memories of Animal Crossing played on the DS, but this newer version, I played many hours when I was staying with a friend the first month of COVID, because we all thought this was gonna be, 2 weeks? Look how that forgot us, but regardless, we both were on the couch together and we're like, should we buy it? No, we should buy it. Should we get Animal Crossing? We're right here next to each other. We can just visit our islands and stuff. And so that was kind of the reason we finally buckled up and said, all right, we're gonna get it. So that's all the ones on my Switch that I got recently. I also got briefly, I haven't really played it yet, but Mark of the Ninja Remastered I bought during quarantine. I haven't really played it. But that's about it as far as like stuff I've bought and played during quarantine. Oh, I also played briefly for a hot moment Overcooked 2 with some friends. Adorably goofy and lovable. I love it. Overcooked 2 is just like a perfect party game, and like it's wonderful chaoticness, I think is the best way to put it. Not to mention the lovable puns and quirkiness of the actual game. It's wonderful. We love. So that's all the ones on my Switch. I'm looking forward to the new releases. I know they said, talking about Zelda again, like I wasn't a huge Zelda fan, but they're coming. I saw that they announced Skyward Sword's coming on the Switch, and I'm debating getting that. I'm debating. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. I'm debating. It looks I've heard some good stuff, I've heard some bad stuff, especially since, my newfound love for Zelda. I definitely want to give it a shot if I can, but we'll see. Now, moving on to my computer games I've been playing during quarantine, during COVID. It's a whole new, what's the word I'm looking for? A whole new batch. So, especially since I got my first gaming PC, I kind of went and I finally got to see the beauty of Steam sales, because I never really understood, I never got to see the beauty of them because I didn't have a gaming PC before, or I didn't have a job as one or the other. But oh my gosh, now that I have both, I have thoroughly taken advantage of Steam sales, and there's no going back. So, some of the games I've bought and played during quarantine, or at least bought, I'll do the ones I've played, because there's a lot I've bought, not all I've played. So, first of all, since we were talking about Nintendo and the NES, I got Ducktales Remastered. Now, when I opened up the NES emulator, and I saw almost all the games I played during childhood, I felt awesome. But one of the games they didn't have, well, two of the games they didn't have, honestly, was Mickey Mousecapade, which, that was great. Although it was still kind of confusing looking back on it. But the second one they didn't have was DuckTales. I rocked at DuckTales. I was so good at DuckTales. Like, honestly, I beat that game several times over as a kid, and I loved it. So when I saw they didn't have it on the emulator, I was kind of sad. But Steam has DuckTales Remastered. Now, so like, I bought it purely for nostalgia, that I want to replay it. I want to feel that old childhood giddiness of beating DuckTales. And I definitely got it with this game. It was a little more of a learning curve because I played it on my computer, which, as a pleb, I played it with my keyboard for a while until I learned how to plug in my remote controller. So, but oh my gosh, I felt kind of weird playing the remastered version because they try to put more of like what's the word I'm looking for? A storyline to it. There's actual voice acting, there's actual like scenes. It's kind of cute, but sometimes at the same time when I keep redoing after every time I die, I'm like, all right, speed it up. But oh my gosh, like as someone who loves video game music, I've been listening to the remastered soundtrack for a year now before I even got this game, the actual remastered of DuckTales, but like the Moon theme remastered, the opening theme remastered. Oh, also, I was that weird kid that did not know DuckTales was an actual show. I knew it as the video game before it was the show. So, take that as you will. But, oh my gosh, I still, as you can tell, I still fawn over the remastered songs of DuckTales. It's amazing. Even if you don't want to play the game, at least check out like the Moon theme remastered or the opening theme remastered. It really, like, listen to the original and then listen to the remastered. It really just shows you kind of like whoa. It has that whoa factor. That grandioso. What's another one I played? Let's see. Raft. I loved watching YouTubers play Raft for some reason. It's one of those games that, like, I loved kind of the resource building, like resource grabbing and building and expanding to also help you resource grab and build kind of games. I haven't played it in a while, but it's just looking right now makes me want to go in and play it. I love that stuff. Oh my gosh, that's also what's really nice about having a gaming PC now. It's like I can actually play the games I watch my YouTubers play. It may be really, like, what's the word, like childish of me, but I am a childish person, so be it. I bought Oxygen Not Included, and I played that like for 3 days straight once. It's very addicting once you get into like start up your colony. It's a lot of resource management, Oxygen Not Included, but it's by the same people who made Don't Starve, I believe, like the same artistic style. But it's if you like resource management, like to the extreme, like to the point you have to make sure everyone has enough oxygen just to work, then you'll like Oxygen Not Included. It's like I said, it's really easy to go into the game and spend like 10 hours playing it, just like once you hop in you just can't get out. It's kind of one of those games that's harder to come back into it because you made so much progress that one time that you forget everything that's happened or you need to pay attention to when you come back in. It's one of those games, but I'm glad I got it. I definitely see myself playing it more in the future. Slime Rancher was a really just happy-go-lucky stress reducer after work. I definitely want to play more of that because there's apparently a lot of lore I have not touched. I put a good amount of hours in it because it was just definitely a happy. It was like a thing I can like. I enjoy grindy games when I'm trying to de-stress because it's just very, your brain goes into like an automatic mode and you don't have to think about much, but you're still making progress, so you kind of feel good about it and you kind of just sit back and Slime Ranch is one of those feel good looking kind of games. It just, everything's smiling and happy. I mean, unless you don't feed them, but there's still a little bit of like danger. It keeps me intrigued in the game, but it's good. I love Slime Rancher. So, I'm still mad about some of those market prices in it, but you know. For a blink, I played Left 4 Dead that my partner got for me, and I played it with them, and I did not realize I was that good at shooting zombies. That's all I have to say about that. So, and I just realized that's the game where I've seen people mod it to hell. Like, I've seen, Dinosaurs versus Teletubbies one time, and it makes me really want to go in and learn how to mod so I can mod that game. Among Us! Oh my gosh, the phenomenon that is Among Us. Funny enough, I'm not one of those people that's played a lot of Among Us. I've played like maybe 10 games total. That's it. My partner actually got it for me because they're like, you need to play Among Us. You need to like play with other people. Like, oh, I've heard so much about it. I just haven't played it yet. So it's fun though. I still trying to figure out the game. I think I understand, but it's great. It's very much every time I go into the game, it's like, this is just old Trouble in Terrorist Town, or like what's another OG game I'd compare it to? Trouble in Terrorist Town is the one I keep thinking of, but there's got to be some others that are out there. Not just Trouble in Terrorist Town, but what's it called? It's a Gmod, Murder. It was just called Murder. Good old Gmod days. Can we bring that back? Can we make that a thing again? Bring back the old Gmod, like TTT and Murder. Those were good times. Oh, and Prop Hunt. I honestly would love that if we could bring that back. So, alright, I got 3 more. So, because the other ones I really haven't played yet. So, another one is House Flipper. And this one is another game where it's really a kind of a sit back, relax, just kind of de-stress, and I get to like clean up and decorate a house. I won't clean up my own stuff, but I'll like sit and clean up a virtual house, and because it's just less work and you feel better and more accomplished, and I get to sell it and I can make a lot of money and do it all over again. Very much it's nice. It's really nice. There's just something so calming about sitting and virtually cleaning a house and then getting to decorate it, and then you just make money, and that's the whole game. That's really it. Like, And I paid $20 for that. So, well, actually no, it was on sale, so I paid like half that. But regardless, it's a really nice de-stress game, and I am definitely gonna play more of that. Now this one. If none of you have heard of Maze, like Maze as in like the corn maze, M-A-I-Z-E, please check this game out. It is a game that is only, let me check Steam, like it's only a certain, like it's not that many hours. I played it all in one sitting. It's a 4-hour game. Highly recommend. It's a beautifully, like visually stunning puzzle game about sentient corn. It sounds so dumb, but it is so funny. The humor is on point. You have this little like teddy bear that follows you at some point. That is a little Russian talking teddy bear that kind of insults you, but he's a cute little teddy, so he squeaks as he walks as he's like insulting you in Russian. It's so funny, so cute. And it's a straight up puzzle game. Like I said, it's visually stunning. I really check it out, please. It's been a couple years since I watched the playthrough, and for some reason it came into my mind recently, and it was right as I got this computer, and I went on like a deep dive and tried to find videos, and I found it, and I watched the full playthrough again on H2O Delirious' channel, and then guess what? I bought it and played it for myself again because it was just that great. So Maze, M-A-I-Z-E, and you'll know it because it has pictures of talking corn. It's so funny, and like it's one of those games where like you have to check every single thing because single thing is kind of adds to the hilarity, and by that I mean like every single, like they'll have little descriptions of each item, even if it's just like a biscuit or like a rock. Oh my gosh, they have rocks that you can pick up, and then the person, like the narrator, little descriptions like, you decided to name this one Chauncey, and like he has issues with like this and this, or like he's trying to find his way in life, and like just about a rock. And it's so funny. And not to mention like these little sticky notes you'll find all over the place in this huge like laboratory underneath this cornfield about these two feuding co-workers. And oh my gosh, it is absolutely hilarious. So yeah, highly recommend Maze, M-A-I-Z-E. I will continue to say it because it is worth it. It is underrated. Lastly, we have Albi Online, and that's kind of a little play on words. It's A-L-B-I-O-N online. And wow, we're pushing 50 minutes. I'm proud of myself. I can talk about video games for a long time, people. These are just the ones I got and played during quarantine. So Albi Online is a MMORPG, and this is one of the first ones I've really kind of gotten into and thoroughly enjoyed. Well, except the one I played when I was like, 10, 12? That was the Spider Riders one, which if any of you got that reference, thank you. Good to know I'm not alone out here. Rest in peace to that server that shut down in, I don't know, what was it, like 10 years ago, 7 years ago, but regardless. This is it's one of the first MMORPGs I've actually fully gotten into, enjoyed, and play kind of like daily, this and that. And my partner got me into it, and I definitely got into this because of the hype of an anime I was watching that revolved around esports and kind of MMORPGs. So yes, I was a little bit pushed into it, but it's really fun. As far as an MMORPG goes, definitely have the freedom to do a lot of things. It's definitely laid out nicely. I had a little bit of help from my partner who got me into it to get like some money to start off, so I didn't have to grind as much in the beginning. I definitely kind of jumped ahead of the ranks, but I love like going through dungeons like after work and just going through dungeons and killing stuff and taking down the boss, and then be able to call that a day sometimes, or if I do need to have a moment where I just grind, I can go and grind some materials to go refine them and sell them. It's definitely like you can do whatever you want kind of thing. You can be a farmer, you can be someone who like refines stuff, there's a whole like, there's many paths for different types of fighters, and then you can go to arena battles. It's very cool, very cool. There's still a lot I haven't learned in it. I've definitely kept to one area due to my partner I play with, but I'm still very intrigued by it, and I think it's awesome. I haven't heard of it really much before this, so definitely want to check out. It's definitely like I always hear of like, oh my gosh, what's the one I always hear of? World of Warcraft and stuff, like that kind of thing, but I don't know how to compare to this or how the two will compare, but regardless. But yeah, so those are kind of the main games I've played. Oh, and I also touched just for a couple levels on Battle Block Theater with my partner, but other than that, those are all the games I've been playing, or have bought and played during quarantine, that and on my Switch, like I said. There are some more games I've bought on Steam sales I just have not played, or because I don't have any friends yet to play them with, because I got a pack of multiplayer games. I'd also mention on my computer, I did also bought Phoenix Wright for my computer because I bought it for my friends if they wanted to log into my Steam and play Phoenix Wright for themselves. So, because, oh my gosh, I needed more people to talk to about it. But yeah, regardless, that's kind of my almost hour-long podcast of... Sorry, I forget how I can just talk on and on about about video games, and I guess that's perfectly why I'm doing this. But yep, that's just the games so far in quarantine I bought and played on my Switch and on my computer. I have, obviously, like I said, a PS4. I do have an Xbox 360. I definitely have some games for the PS4 I still need to play. And but for now, that's kind of all I've got for you. Now, what kind of games? Let me know what kind of games you guys have really latched onto during quarantine / COVID, and which ones you're looking forward to, whether it be with the new PS5 that came out / still is coming out, because good lord, when it comes to restock issues, that is one of them. But let me know. So I will let you guys go for now, but I hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you in the next podcast. Bye for now.